Good morning. Happy Friday. It's Tony Kurre. Man, do we have a date for you today on Tony Kurre Radio. Want to get into a lawsuit here in just a second. Also, a very happy birthday to someone that I know a lot of people are going to love and talk about a little bit later on today as well. Today, though, is Friday. Friday's all big days on Tony Kurre Radio. Get the TKR app. Just go to Android, Apple, search TKR. Take you 5 seconds, download the Tony Kurre Radio app, be like tens of thousands of other people who have already done it. Today at noon, we got the Damon Johnson Show. Of course, he's on the road with Leonard Skinner right now, getting ready to do the Brother Kane thing. They're doing limited shows with Brother Kane. They're going full force next year. That show runs at noon today. 1 o'clock today, we are celebrating Lollapalooza. My good friend Stuart Rome from the Woodhouse Day Spa, birmingham.woodhousespas.com. We did a show yesterday. He's picked 5 bands that are appearing up there in beautiful Chicago all the way through Sunday for Lollapalooza. We'll do some Metallica, some Pyro for Pornos or Porno for Pyros. What other bands did he have in there? Billy Strings. I mean, some killer songs today on When in Rome. That airs at 1 o'clock, When in Rome with Stuart Rome. Then 2 o'clock, a brand new show we started a couple weeks ago with Kip Kiefer called Need to Know with his good friend Terry Quillian, who is in Dallas. It's hotter than hell there. She'll talk about it. They'll get into a wonderful show. They do a little politics. They basically do a Tony Kurre Live. They talk about whatever they want. It's a great show. So noon, 1, and 2, and then those shows replay tonight at 6, 7, and 8 right here on the Tony Kurre Radio app. If you're busy, you don't have time to download the app, shame on you. But if you just got a chance and it's like 2 o'clock, you're like, oh, I forgot to tune in, go to Spotify or wherever you get your podcast and search Tony Kurre Radio. And you can listen to all the shows, all the previous shows. There's hundreds of them, so please do that. Speaking of great shows tonight, Liz and the Grand Tour tonight at Workplay. I talked to Tommy Williams, my good friend, my angel. Spoke with him a couple days ago. Liz and the Grand Tour are going to be playing. They do classic country its best. If you're a classic country fan, I like the old. I used to work up at Rock 99.5, and our sister station was WVOK. It was a little AM station, AM 690. I mean, they did classic country. Todd Hamilton, good morning to you. Good to have you on board. Fantastic show. Liz and the Grand Tour. We talk about Bruce Springsteen tickets being $5 grand, $20, $20. $20 tonight. Go to workplay.com, get your tickets, show up at the door. Doors open, I guess the show starts around 6 or 7 o'clock, but get there around 4 o'clock. Just knock on the door and tell them you want let my ass in and go in and have a drink. Liz and the Grand Tour a little bit later on tonight right here at Workplay. It's going to be a fantastic show. Happy birthday to Peter Jennings. Peter Jennings is dead. He used to be on ABC's World News Tonight. And I bring him up because he is my first major interview of my entire radio career. I think I was like 14 or 15 years old. Somehow we tracked down Peter Jennings. He was one of the big 3 on network television. This is before cable and all this stuff. A Canadian guy. He was huge. And I bring him up not only because he was super nice to me because I was 14 years old and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Benny Selma, good morning to you. Magic City Tire and Service. I'll do that, Benny. Leave me your cell phone number and I'll call you. We'll do some business. We'll get you here on Tony Kurre Radio, just like we did with Al Cooper at Coosa Valley Auto. But Peter was a super nice guy and really treated me well. And the crazy thing about Peter Jennings, one of the top 3 anchors of our time, high school dropout. You never know. And also today, he's 69 years old, Geddy Lee from Rush, one of the greatest all-time, most distinct voices in all of radio, classic rock. Stephen Kutcher, good morning to you, and also Sam Rushy, good morning to you. You know, when we were in high school, you had your Black Sabbath guys who you didn't mess with the Black Sabbath dudes because they were just weird, they were dope smoking, they had, earrings in their eyebrows and they stunk and everything else. Then you had your guys that were like into the Devo and Adamant. Those are the guys that would get bullied and get to beat the hell out of. You had your classic rock guys who loved the Van Halen, the Bob Seger and stuff. That was one of me. And then, of course, you had the soft rock guys and girls that listened to England and John Forcoli and Bread. And then you had your Rush people. Just people. I mean, Rush had its own genre, had its own platform. If you were a Rush guy, you now are millionaires. Rush people were super smart. They were weird back in high school. They were a little strange. They probably didn't get laid till like they were 35. But Rush guys were great. So happy birthday to Geddy Lee. He turns 69 today. All right, so I saw this story, and it's come up like 3 days in a row, and I wasn't going to mention it. I go looking through things, and then I see stories that interest me. So I saw this story about this little black girl who's down at SeaWorld, and evidently she's at Sesame Place or something like that. Anyway, it's like Sesame Street. People come out in their suits, and they're saying hi to kids right at SeaWorld. And so Telly Monster comes out, and she's short, and Telly Monster comes out, and he's shaking hands around her and kind of disses her. And she looks back at her dad. She's like, what the hell? Telly Monster didn't even recognize me, right? And then a few minutes later, Ernie comes out and does the exact same thing. Shakes hands with a little kid next to her, then over her head, and then walks away, and obviously her heart is broken. Well, now her dad, Quentin Burns, is suing SeaWorld for $25 million for some type of racial discrimination. Now, when I see these stories, I take a deep breath, and I go, okay, first of all, I'm a white guy, so I consider that. Then I actually dive into the story to find out, and I watch the video. I want to make sure I know everything about it before I say anything about it, because you never know. Maybe Ernie is a racist. Maybe Telly Monster doesn't like black people. I don't know. So I'm looking at it. So I went back and I leaned on some of my experience. See, back in 1982, I worked at Kings Island Amusement Park up in beautiful Mason, Ohio, which is about 15 minutes away from Westchester, Ohio, where my mom and dad and I, of course, resided. And now it's Paramount Parks, and it's a huge park. It's like continue my story about SeaWorld until my internet was so rudely interrupted. So as Scooby-Doo at Kings Island Amusement Park, I used to walk around the park and shake hands with people. And there were some people, quite frankly, I wanted to shake hands with. I'd always go to the kids. I'd go to the parents. Some kids looked like they had sticky stuff all over their hands. I didn't want to get near it. It was super hot. Ultimately, I went down the water flume at the Kings Island Amusement Park, and I got my head stuck on the hole, and I almost drowned a family of 5. And so they almost fired me before they said, you no longer can be Scooby-Doo. My point being is there is limited viewing that comes through these giant big head suits. Some people say there's no air conditioning in these suits, not unless, and again, it's been 30 years since I've been in one, but there's no air conditioning. It's stinking hot. It's very, very difficult to navigate. You're walking around a park where there's kids at your feet and everything else. You have to be super careful because of liability. I'm surprised we still have mascots, to be honest with you, because you could kill somebody in one of those things because you can't see anything. So after seeing the video like 15 or 16 times, I don't think, and as her father, I don't know if he's doing this as an example or to make a point. I'm not sure, but I can tell you right now, and I don't know who was dressed up as Ernie, and I don't know who was dressed up as Telly Monster, but I can tell you right now, I don't think there was any racial discrimination at all in this particular suit. I think there was just so many kids. There's 30,000 kids on this street, and they all want to touch the mascot, right? They all want to shake hands with the mascot, and the mascots, and it's a parade, so it's not like they can stop. The parade's got to keep moving, and so eventually some kids miss out. In this particular case, she got snubbed twice by Telly Monster and Ernie. It's unfortunate. I know it broke her heart. She's 5 years old. Take her back to Disney World or take her back to SeaWorld, and she'll be fine. And I'm betting you SeaWorld's probably setting some up where she can go have lunch with Telly Monster. But to sue SeaWorld for $25 million because she got snubbed by Telly Monster? Come on. I mean, think about what you're teaching your kids there, right? We're super busy. It's like whenever you meet a rock and roller, you know? You want to meet them, you want to touch them, everyone wants a piece of them, and sometimes you just get snubbed. It happens, and sometimes you get snubbed twice. It happens, particularly when you're a 5-year-old little girl and you're very difficult to see. She was one of the shorter people that was in and around the area. If you see it, you'll know what I mean. And maybe someday I'll go back to Paramount Parks and dress up as Scooby-Doo and ride the Beast. It was a great time. Man, it was scary, though. When I was on that water flume and I got my head stuck up on the roof and the water started rushing up behind the boat, I thought we were all going to die. It would have been a horrible way to go, but it would have been a great story. All right, again, check out Liz and the Grand Tour later on tonight at Workplay. $20 tickets. Going to be a great show. Classic country. Happy birthday to Geddy Lee. Turns 69 years old today. I know Alex Hubline from Adapter Parish, a show we do on Tuesdays with Dr. Josh Claypo. He loves himself some Geddy Lee, and so does Stuart Rome. When in Rome with Stuart Rome, a fantastic guy and a great birthday, 69 years old. Happy birthday to Geddy Lee. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I may check back in tomorrow morning. We started this radio station about 3 years ago, and I'm trying to change the world, man. I'm not a millionaire. I don't have hundreds of millions of dollars to put behind digital marketing, everything I'm doing. So everything is grassroots. But man, I want to thank James Michael Keats. I want to thank David Sears. I want to thank everyone again, Josh Claypool. I want to thank everyone, and of course, my clients. I couldn't do it without my clients and the sponsorships. We're going to change the world. And I'm telling you here, before too long, everyone's going to know what Tony Kurre Radio is all about. Our shows are fantastic. Our music is wonderful. We got some great promotions coming up. So check it out. You can do me a huge favor if you know me. You like me, you don't like me, I don't care. Well, I do care. But download the TKR app, Tony Kurre Radio, and then go to Spotify or wherever you get your podcast and check it out. I hope you have a wonderful and blessed day. I love you, and thanks for watching.